Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Fateless podcast episode. We've got a couple creators from the community in JKG Brandon, and then we've also got Papa Tez, along with our UI expert in Henry, who I believe all of you have been on the channel before, except for you, right, Papa Tez?
Yep, just me.
Awesome. Well, go ahead and maybe introduce yourself to people and let them know a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your content, your history in gaming, your favorite games, and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Well, just get right into it. I'm Papa Tez. Most people will call me Tez. I now do variety content, kind of where I started early on. It was just like watching my brother play Final Fantasy 7. I still remember seeing probably my favorite early on game was Donkey Kong Country. I absolutely love Donkey Kong
Like
Country.
Super Nintendo or
Ye
what?
Yeah, Super
Yeah, that was an
Nintendo,
amazing game.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Street Fighter was at 2 or 3? Well, at this probably 2 at the time. So we're going way back to, like, almost the beginning just a little bit. There was some Atari stuff there, but that was a little bit past me, just a little bit, but, going into Diddy Kong Racing for, the I think that was for the, 64, I believe. I believe Diddy Kong Racing
I'm not
was, for
100% sure, but it
64.
sounds right.
Yeah, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing. So I just enjoyed those. And then going into like more platformers and other stuff, I played Destiny for a very, I've been playing Destiny and Destiny 2 for quite a long time. But now I've kind of moved over into the gotcha space. And so I would say for a lot of people, it's kind of the same. Genshin is kind of like that first playing field early on. But yeah, now just enjoying a lot of different games and just enjoying basically live streaming it on Twitch, making some posts on YouTube now. So YST doesn't yell at me to tell me to post a video.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Very nice. And then Brandon, I know you've been here before, but
Yeah.
how you been, man? What's up?
Oh man, my life's been turned upside down. Uh Pretty much since the alpha the last alpha stopped, been busy with going to doctors with my dad and stuff. I've talked about it on my channel. I won't get into it here. But yeah. So everything's kind of new to me that's been going on since the alpha ended. So it's kind of nice to kind of have a little distraction today. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, gaming wise, man, OG. I started on Knight Rider on Atari 26, Pong, uh, Pac-Man at the sit-down table at the pizza parlor. Those were my earliest memories in gaming, and I love them. I wish we could get back to a little bit of that.
Hey, man. Well, appreciate you taking the time to stop
Yeah,
by and chop it up with us, even though life's a bit
yeah,
crazy right now. So hang in there,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Thanks for stopping by. Henry,
yeah.
I know you kind of your main job here at Fateless is doing the UI and all that, and kind of what have you been working on a little bit, kind of since the alpha days and all that stuff.
So the alpha days were kind of crazy to manage, like to get out all the features we need in like a proper state and like stable and everything. So past alpha, we already like adjusted a lot of stuff regarding feedback from the players, and already worked on several features that's coming on early access. So it's been like a great thing to be doing, like these new features. But yeah, been amazing.
Awesome. How so from a player's perspective, how different do you think the overall UI of the game will be compared to alpha? Like when players get their hands on it in early access, would you say it's going to be like a lot different? It's going to be like way different overall UI, or is it going to be like, 40% different? Can you give players a little bit of insight of what to expect in terms of, will it be similar to what we saw in alpha with small changes, or is it going to be a lot different?
I think players will gonna notice a lot of difference, especially like on polished stuff, because most of like stuff is like either like made of uh, s- uh, uh, poorly adjusted stuff from the beginning, and now we're kind of wrapping things up and starting to polish stuff, polish all the buttons, or adding some VFX over the UI. That's going to make a huge difference. Even in battle, it's going to make a huge difference. Like you're going to adjust some stuff regarding the players' feedback. So I think players are going to notice like a lot of difference from alpha.
Cool. And then lastly, before I get into Brandon and Tez input on the UI, you referenced player feedback a couple times. Was there anything that stands out to you in terms of the things we were hearing the most common from the community in terms of the positives and the negatives and things you saw in relation to the UI?
Yeah, the most talk about feature that was not on alpha was like the filters and sorting gear. So that's kind of a sad part to me because the feature was almost done, but that's gonna break a lot of stuff if we're not careful enough to deliver the feature properly. So it was good to leave it out because we want to deliver the best product possible. That was like the main thing I saw in players' feedback was like the sorting and filters.
Yeah, being able to like select all common gear and then just click
Yeah,
sell and get rid of it all. Yeah, yeah, gotcha. So,
seems simple, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So the good news is stuff like that is going to be in early access, and you'll be able to see some of the filters and things kind of bring the game to life. Well, heading over to Tez and Brandon, is there things that are top of mind for you that you would like to ask Henry, or feedback that you have on the UI and the different screens and the systems within Godforge?
Yeah, definitely. Like one of the things that stood out to me that I was thinking about is, can I get some tooltips? Just want to see like what's the direction as far as the tooltips for us to see buffs, to see debuffs, and to get a little bit more information on the screen.
Yeah, we're gonna have like tooltips for a lot of stuff with uh, either for debuffs, for buffs, for everything is gonna have like an explanation, and we're also gonna have like a codex or some sort of place that you go to find information about anything.
Yep.
Sounds awesome.
Yep, and, I know, we kinda talked about this internally as a team, but, as far as we don't wanna do hand-holding and solve everything for the player, but we also don't want a player to feel like they have to go to Google to look up what a certain buff means. Like, we wanna at least give you the basic information in the game, 'cause, I'm sure you can all relate, that's the worst when you're playing a new game, you're like, "Wait, what? What does that do?" And you gotta, like, go over to your other monitor, start Googling, like, what does this effect do in this game? Like, what is going on? We're gonna try to, make sure that's kind of a thing in Godforge and yeah, pop-ups and all that good stuff. But Brandon, did you have anything top of mind?
For me, the biggest UI issue, I'll say not really an issue, but like a little bit of a pain point for me as I'm getting older. My eyesight's getting a little worse. Uh, so like the little dot at the bottom of the bar under on our side for our heroes, um, the affinity bubble was just a little bit small. I would love to see that like just a little bit bigger so I can more quickly identify, okay, I have a strong affinity against these enemies and stuff like that. But for the most part, it felt nice and snappy in all the alpha. Other than like you guys said, some of the stuff that was already being worked on and communicated that was being worked on, like the sorting and stuff like that, that would obviously be a game changer for for when the inbox gets or when the inventory gets a little full, we can just cruise through, just multi-click and get rid of stuff. But yeah, just some of the stuff felt a little bit small for my old eyes, but yeah, that was nothing I couldn't manage. So
Cool. Henry, did you
Yeah,
wanna?
it's a great feedback because it's complicated to have like a game perfectly adjusted for mobile and for PC, and with all the little things that you need to put in the game like super well on both devices. Because some things are too small for mobile, but like look huge on the PC, right? So it's kind of tricky, and we can have some tricks to go over and polish that with some VFX on that small levels, or to make it like look brighter, and you can see already like what the color is. Some
yeah,
stuff like that we can do, yeah, for sure. It's a great feedback.
appreciate that.
Is the affinity, do we know yet, Henry? Is the affinity gonna be represented the same in early access? Are kind of like the core elements of the UI staying the same? Like your divinity meter is gonna be shown with an orb, and then the hero is gonna be flaming when they have their ultimate, and the affinity is gonna be a little circle. Like, Is all of that stuff staying exactly the same for early access, just being polished? Or do you have any like things you're allowed to talk about in terms of actual changes?
I think most of it's going to be the same, but polished. If the divinity is not represented well, like if the flame is not like visible enough, we can adjust that. But I think it's good to have like the proper core stuff in the game to look like polished and look the same for the players. But yeah, most of it is going to be the same.
But one thing that I'm personally excited about that I believe is going to be completely different from alpha and early access is there's going to be live feedback while you're playing in terms of those numbers that pop up, right? In terms of like damage and healing and damage taken. We're going to have meters that represent all of that. So during a run, you're going to be able to see who is dealing the most damage, who's healing the most, and you're going to be able to kind of follow that and tab through it during a boss fight or during a bunch of playing. So you can see like, oh wow, like my Zeus is really slapping. He's doing the most damage. Like, okay, cool. So Henry, we're gonna be placing that
Okay.
like top right or something on the screen, correct?
Yeah. The plan is to have like an info screen with or info pop up with a lot of information, either from damage, healing, shielding, whatever. It's gonna be on the top right corner, and you can access like a lot of information on the heroes during the battle.
Okay. So
Awesome.
is that going to be like where you hit the little drop down basically and it shows as an additional option, or is it just going to be one of the things that stand out kind of at the top of the other, like the pause, the viewpoint and ×2 and stuff like that?
That layout can change a little bit
Okay.
because you have some friction on some stuff there, but the general goal is to have like a button for information there on the top right corner.
Okay. Pretty awesome.
Nice. And Tez, I think you had a couple, right? Did you want have anything else you wanted to ask Henry?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you kind of talking about the phone. So like for me, I have one of I know you all won't be able to see this. Other people won't be able to see this, but like I have a foldable device here. And when I played it the first time, I was like, this is terrible. Like I can't see nothing. It's all fat. I can't do anything. So I appreciate you like I felt like the second time, yeah, exactly. You gotta look in close on it. So I appreciate like you talking about those adjustments because I did see that like as the alpha waves changes, I saw things just improve. I think the by the time alpha 3 came in, I think the screen shrunk down to fit in kind of like the full view because before I just couldn't see anything because the phone view is too big and so it wasn't optimized for it. So I just want to hear a little bit more of like what is you all's direction as far as optimizing for the UI for different types of phones. You know, you have some older phones, you got some newer phones, you got different size phones. What's your approach for that?
So the plan is to be for every player to enjoy the game in whatever device they want to play, right? So that's the main goal. So it's a work in progress right now to have like a proper responsive game which can open and feels good in every device. But I'm sure that like some devices might feel a little bit weird because they have like aspect ratios a little bit more strange. Like super wide is going to be like awkward one, or squared one is going to be a awkward one as well. But it's gonna it must feel good nonetheless, right? It's not the obvious aspect ratios, but it's a work in progress to manage to get all things responsive and all the buttons like in the right place for every device.
It sounds awesome. So you mean to tell me that Brad here will be able to play on his Samsung TV? I mean on his Samsung refrigerator screen?
Mm. I mean, if he wants to, yeah.
Heck
Go.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, and Henry, when you're working on it, you have an ability, correct, to kind of tab through all the different devices and ratios. So when you're working on like a UI element or something, is that kind of like the end of your workflow? Do you kind of tab through those and see what it looks like on all the devices, or how does that work from your kind of art program and all that?
So I usually get my first draft for that screen on let's say normal aspect ratio, and then I adjust for the different ones for a smaller one, for a wider one, and I adjust it on Figma. That's where I made all the work. And then when we get things for Unity, we we can scroll through different aspect ratios to see how the game is looking and feeling. That's normally where I adjust stuff, or we ask the dev team to adjust some stuff to make it feel good. Now, it's not just like me working. We have like some experts on development or UI development that can adjust everything to make it feel good.
Awesome. And then did either one of you have anything else in relation to kind of the overall flow of the game or the UI or anything?
Or I don't know if it's been in the works or shown that it's in the works, but will we have like a little bit more of like a hover over or like a long press on an item to get info about the item, like in the inventory and stuff like that, or will it be just kind of you have to like click into it and go to that page, or will there be like a quick little pop out summary of like what the item is and stuff like that?
We're for sure going to have like tooltips for certain items. It's hard to have like overs because
Sure.
it's a mobile game as well, so we got to manage both sides. But we're planning to have like tooltips for either currencies or other aspects of the game that you need to know more, and even have like buttons to indicate where you can grab those, and you can like directly go to them. So it's
Okay.
something that we're working on. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then I know you kind of mentioned the feedback, Henry. What were the positives from your end? I know you talked about how you were bummed out because we couldn't get as many filters and all that. What do you think we kind of did hit the mark on from your perspective? Is there something that has turned out really well that you'd be excited to kind of talk about and share?
Yeah, for sure that we have like certain positive feedback as well. Like especially regarding like 3 waves of alpha, players noticed that we were improving each time that we release something, and we were listening to them. Like especially minor tweaks on the battle, for example, like adding the wave counter or the time that we are in battle or something like that. Just small things that give the players a better experience while playing. I think the battle is probably the the scene that we are trying to get the most polished possible, because it's where players are gonna spend most of the time. It's battling, and the roster screen as well. That's another topic that uh, has some friction. I don't know if you guys felt this. I felt this during playing because I played like the whole thing, but I felt like the hero roster could be improved. Like especially like the Ascension screen can have a better way to approach that, and I'm certainly working on some options to give the players a better experience on every promotion screen that we have. It's not just like, and I think it's important for us as people that work on the game to experience the game and to be a player as well, to play the game as a normal player. That's gonna like exponentially like improve your work like by a lot. If you're not playing the game, people will know that you're not playing the game because your UI decisions are kind of bad, you know. And
Yeah.
that's why I like to do. I like to play the game and like to see what else I can improve on.
Awesome. And if I were a guest here as a player, my feedback would be was noticing a pain point with the abilities and the awakening. So, like, when I have a hero, I would wanna be able to see easily what the ability is from being awakened, but in the roster screen, I see an ability, and I have to, like, go into the awakening screen and then click through, like, 1, 3, 5, and then try to, like, go back and remember, "Okay, so what is the full ability now?" I don't have, like, an easy way to kinda, like, turn awakening on or off and see the full effects. So something like that would be really cool. And then also in the awakening screen, it just says this ability also does this. I would want to see like the whole ability. Like the ability was this. When you awaken it, it becomes this. So I think are we going to be adjusting the awakening and how it's kind of shown to the player? Do you know anything about that, Henry?
So we're gonna adjust the awakening screen, but most of all, we're gonna adjust the ability tooltip. That's the most efficient way to show what the awakening is gonna do. It's like if you adjust the ability tooltip to show either the debuffs and buffs they do, the levels when you are upgrading the ability, and the awakening, you're gonna have like the three systems on the same tooltip. That's the easy way to like see the whole thing and not just like overflow the awakening screen with a lot of information. That's gonna ruin kind of the experience, because the awakening screen is supposed to sacrifice the biggest part of your game, which is the heroes. So you're not gonna like show a lot of information there, because we're gonna have like a big screen of noise. But we can, for example, you're talking about the awakening screen that shows that the ability is going to do that then. So you can click the ability icon and you can see like the full thing. That's a small adjustment that can be done on that screen.
Okay. Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. Well, I don't want to hog Henry's time here. You know, do either you have anything you wanted to bring up? Also, in general, we can kind of have fun with it and be casual. So if you have anything you want to
Yeah.
chop it up about in terms of asking about Godforge, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine too.
That sounds good. Yeah. So, like on the, of course, I think you know what I'm probably going to say about the Ascension screen right off the back. Can I just slide it all the way over, please? Do I have to click one at a time? Please, no.
That's a tricky question. That's because you have like both visions, right? You have like the vision that I want to make it this quick, but you also have the vision that you're sacrificing heroes, and you're sacrificing either legendaries or epics. So it's a big deal. You don't want to like have some gratuity in it and just like drag it and then it's just done. For alpha, it was a different experience, because you can farm heroes like whatever you want, and it's so for sure it's an easy way to approach stuff and just like make it like a scroll, and it's awakens.
I could be
fully
wrong, but I think
awakened.
Henry he's talking about Ascension, so there shouldn't be any hero sacrificing. Were you talking about Ascension, Tez?
Ascension or awakening?
I
I
think
thought Ascension.
I think I meant Awakening. I think
Oh,
I meant
okay.
Awakening. So
Okay, cool.
he's on subject.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you have that aspect of you don't want to overly simplify a complex and important uh, stuff in the game. But I get you what you're saying, because I felt the same. Like I want to just like put my Ramses up A5 and that's it. But I think there's a middle ground with that we can find. We can find the middle ground on both sides and have like a quicker way to do it, but it still requires for a lot of clicks. Not a lot, but a few. Then
Yeah, and Tez, I think you'll find that the live game is gonna flow a lot different than the alpha. So, like, you know, in the live game, you're probably not gonna have 5 copies of a rare so fast that you're unless you're doing like mass summoning. But you know, when we're doing an alpha experience, we're trying to jam we're trying to kind of like basically speed run. Like we're trying to get you a bunch of heroes, let you test things, let you break things, but in the actual game, the you know, the heroes won't be flooding onto your account, you know, and the progression won't be so crazy that you're like maxed out, you know, 30 characters in 3 days and you're A5 on everything. So, it'll be a little bit less of an issue, but it's definitely good feedback. We do want players to be able to easily just kind of slide it, click done, and be good to go.
Yeah, that's good feedback too. Of course, it would definitely be a little bit different because we're not just gonna sit there with everything right off the back. It's probably gonna be more incremental. We might leave them there for a little bit. If we have like a little vault, we'll just put them in the vault. But then, okay, now it's time to get them to that A3 ascension. Then we'll do it at that time, and it won't feel as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And one thing we could maybe talk about because it's something kind of important that we're doing in our game is the like turn order track. You know how it shows kind of like the order of operations, and And Henry, do you have any feedback? Is that going to be changing any from the early access and all that? I know we've kind of gone in a bunch of different iterations of how we want to do that.
Yeah, I don't have any feedback, specific feedback regarding that. I know that we want that meter to be improved somewhat, but it's more a dev issue that it's hard to make, right? I think that it's always true to what's going to happen, and to have like a proper flow or a proper animation to show you what's happening, and that's like a long process to achieve. It's going to take some time to get that element polished. I don't have anything specific like that's going to change a lot. I don't think that's going to change too much from an UI perspective, but from development perspective, it's going to change a little bit because it's going to feel better. It's going to one thing on the top of my hand that it's probably gonna improve the experience is to have some animation of the cards moving instead of just disappearing. For example, that alone can improve a lot.
Yeah, so you're saying you'll be able to see, Ramses is like fourth, but then Ramses gets a turn meter boost from an ally, and he kind of like slides up to second,
Exactly. Yeah.
instead of just
Yeah,
like
it's
vanishing and
slides.
appearing. Yep.
Yeah.
That will be super cool. It'll make it a lot easier for the player to kind of follow what's going on, because that element is a really difficult thing to implement from a development and design standpoint, because we're not just showing the speed, like, 300 speed and then 270 and then 240. It has to be live. It has to be dynamically adjusting based on buffs and boosts and debuffs, and somebody's gonna take their turn, but then they get their turn meter decreased. So now they're not gonna take their turn, and now they have to slide down. So to have it be live and interactive is pretty tough to pull off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I know that is extremely tough to pull off, because I'm just thinking, like, in my brain, all the things that, see, you're not only just putting the visuals on the screen, but you're putting the coding behind it to make sure that those visuals are dynamically able to change all the time based off of every single debuff, based off of every single passive. So many things going on in the background. I know that one of the things that I enjoyed as far as watching a game that had that kind of similar side was that after you move, then you would have kind of like some type of visual that's on the card itself that will show whether they're going to go up or whether they're going to go down. So then basically, let's say like if a turn meter boost happens, well, then once the turn meter boost happens, and let's say like your next players are going, but you'll see something that will maybe say that your team is going to go up, because now instead of two of your members going, now your entire team is going. So you'll see like the visual that those other people are going up in turn meter, and then the enemies will go down. It's just one thing that I saw that I think was really, really nice, because you didn't have to put in a bunch of arrows and all this other stuff. You just had like two visuals that just showed, the progression that your characters are going to take.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's great feedback, especially because when we have like a live feature like that, and you mentioned like having that indicator of if we're going up or down, that can change just by a turn. That can be wrong just by one turn or just by one skill. You know what I mean? So it's like it's tricky to like accomplish something very polished and very true to what's happening, but we're gonna get there.
And Henry, I know maybe a screen that people didn't play around with a bunch in the alpha, and a lot of players probably didn't even notice was there. But we do have during battle that like big information screen where you can pop up a whole separate thing, and you can see your whole team and the whole enemy team and what status effects they're under. Is there any changes planned for that massive information screen? Is there anything you'd like to see in there? Is there any adjustments you'd like to see happen? And what can players expect to come from that? Like, the players that want more info, they're like, hey, while my team's running, I want to pop this up. I want to see everything. Do you have a certain kind of, yeah, both Brandon and Tez. Do you have anything you can give the players in terms of what to expect there in early access?
I mean, we have the feature already designed and already planned. It's just a matter of polishing it. It's something that we want to have like a huge information, but not too much, because we don't want to overwhelm the players with a lot of information. Then they're not enjoying the game as much. So we have like we want a balanced info screen, but it's gonna look good. At least that it's gonna look good, and it's gonna have like the proper information for it.
It's gonna have like their all the status effects they're under, and like their stats, correct? What is the full plan for what's gonna be on the screen? Do you know it off the top of your head?
I know that we're gonna have stats. I just don't know if we're gonna have live stats. That's the only issue. The only thing that's I'm not sure about. It's because it's so tricky to show live stats, and things can change so much. We have like the leader bonus, and we have like defense up bonus, and suddenly your defense is like way there. And I don't know if that's gonna improve the experience that much to compensate, but we're planning to have stats there. Just not sure if live stats.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because I kind of lived in that screen a lot from Alpha 1 all the way through, and it would be really because it kind of comes up and takes over the entire screen for you while you're there, which is fine. Having the like live HP, turn meter, speed, all that kind of stuff would be really awesome. So if that could get implemented and it wouldn't, it wouldn't break anybody's brain to try to, make it happen, that would be incredible. So just gotta throw that out there.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
It might almost be fun to play around with like having two views, like the normal view and the full information view, where
Mhm.
like the actual battle just becomes like a little screen bottom left, and then we have all the information blown up. And then you can just toggle between the two. Do you want the battle to be the whole screen, or do you want the battle to be just a little screen with tons of info? We could almost play around with something like that.
Like a picture in picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
look amazing. That would be kind
Yeah,
of
we
cool.
can have three. We could, because we have like the second one, which is like the cinematic view, just without any UI, and that's awesome too. So like you have like the
Okay.
three experiences.
That is pretty cool.
Let's
So,
just go all the way and optimize that for VR headsets so we could be immersive. I feel like
Oh,
we're in Minority Report.
that'd be cool, honestly.
that'd be super cool. So I guess
Yeah.
within that same like line, I think one of the concerns that we had was just also too just with more of the visuals on the screen, like Divinity, for example. Are we going to be able to see a little bit more with the Divinity? It kind of felt like that the top and bottom of the Divinity kind of hid the GOG a little bit, so you couldn't fully tell like if your stuff was going to be full the next turn or not. Because I know we played around with some things and we were crunching some numbers, and I was like, I'm gonna have my Divinity next turn, and then my friend Unbound Sage, she was just like, no, you're not. And then I see it, I'm like, no, I'm like one off. But that's just like a little side thing. But are we gonna be able to have a little bit? I know you mentioned about the polish around the game. Are we gonna see some polish around like maybe the Divinity counter, the turn meter counters, and some of the other things that we have on the actual game screen?
Yeah, we're gonna polish the Divinity globe a little bit much, but I don't know to which extension it's gonna feel better to you. I think it's more like a visual thing than uh, a way of you to see like the proper number. Um, but I think it's gonna look better, especially because like all the environments that go around the heroes are gonna help to see that too. If we work on the environments to feel a bit more dark, we're gonna have like that Divinity pop up way more. For example, that's just an easy way to not easy, but a simple way to like make your Divinity glow better. But the effect and the globe, I think they're gonna have a little bit more polish, but I don't know how much to your extent. Yeah.
Cool. Well, do either one of you have anything? I know we're kind of approaching the wrap up time, but is there anything burning on either one of your chests that you wanted to get out there and kind of discuss while we're here?
When does early access start?
Yeah, good try. Good try.
You tried it.
I know
gotta
you gotta
ask the
try, so
questions,
I don't blame you.
Nah.
Yeah, you definitely tried it. No,
But no, in all seriousness, definitely, Simon is going to be doing leak videos and stuff here on the channel. So
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
for anybody that's in the Discord servers and subscribed, as soon as possible, you will know all the dates around early access and when you're going to be able to dive into the game and all that. But I know Brandon and Henry, you've been on the channel before, but Tez, with you being here in honor of your first appearance, if you could pick one like myth or legend or hero, kind of that would make sense within the Godforge universe that you haven't seen yet in Godforge, do you have a favorite one that you're like, oh, dude, this would be super awesome if this was a legendary in Godforge or whatever?
uh, I had one before, and then like I saw like one of the first ones that came to my mind was like Medusa, right? But I know like
Okay.
that's already a thing. So that was kind of like one of my first ones. Was
Medusa is gonna be awesome. Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to see the take on that one. That's gonna be really cool.
Cool. Okay. I'll accept that. That's a good answer. Go ahead, Brandon.
We're not gonna go with Optimus Prime. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe Megatron or Starscream. have a Transformers faction.
Transformers faction in Godforge. Yeah.
See, I was thinking along those terms, but it's like everything that pops up in my head is like, something that's like anime related, like Luffy from One Piece, and then,
Ooh.
what's behind him, with the jolly with
Pirates.
with that whole like
Yeah.
theme and stuff like that, Jack Sparrow or something like that. It's like it's all like way other.
Well, hey, you never know a pirates faction
Yeah, Pirates
in
faction would be
Godforge.
pretty dope.
Yeah, you
That's
never know.
actually
So
in
dope.
the old leaks. I think it was like about a year and a half ago. There was like a little contest. What faction would you add that you guys put out to the creators? And I think I did go with a pirate faction, and I listed off like all the different famous pirates and stuff and what they could do. Like that would be pretty cool. There's a little bit of guns going on, so it doesn't really fit like the full aesthetic, but you can also, they had the sabers and the swords and stuff, so that definitely could be something cool.
Yeah,
But
we could lean into more of the early age pirates with the
yeah,
sabers and the different kind of way of fighting. So yeah,
yeah,
it would definitely be possible for sure.
yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, we're gonna link down below to Brandon and Tez's channels and definitely check them out. We'll also have the links for Discord and everything that you need to provide feedback to us as well. Let us know your thoughts about Godforge, and then also to stay in the loop because we're gonna be having early access down the line, and it's gonna be super exciting. So if you want to stay in the loop on those dates, we'll have that for you down below as well. So hey guys, thanks for joining, Henry. It's been great to get another insight on the UI. Thanks for all the hard work on that, Brandon, Tez. Been a blast, and we'll see you around.
And thank
Thank
you
you,
so
guys.
much for having
Thank
us.
you.
Cool.
We
Yeah,
appreciate y'all.
cheers. Yeah, and we'll see you soon in the next Fateless podcast episode. Later.